What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, I think it's time to tell you, and I mean this more than I usually do, although I always mean it, but this time I especially mean it. You ready? Stop buying singles of EB-01. Now, I always mean this, I always tell you this, it's always, well, there are occasionally exceptions, but 99% of the time it is true, and at this point, I think we've seen enough of the peculiarities of One Piece that I can really, even more so than in the beginning sets, I can really start to tailor my advice here around One Piece specifically. The manga rare cards, for instance, I think we've got a handle on those and how they're likely to go. So, EB-01 is different, and the reason EB-01 is different, it's a special set, not a main set. What that means is there are fewer cards overall, there's only one secret rare in terms of Bon Clay Bentham, there's only 3 leaders, you've got Kyros, Hannibal, and Kozuki Oden, and overall, this is, I mean, even more than normal, a set where you really should just be buying singles. Unless you love cracking packs. But you still should be waiting. And the reason here is really simple. The pull rates are much better. Fewer cards, better pull rates. That just makes perfect logical sense, right? And I've already seen a bunch of people saying, look, you might just want to go singles for this set. Me personally, nah, mate, I'm cracking boxes. Love cracking boxes. But that means that a bunch of people are going to be trying to rush out and buy singles early. They're going to be inflating prices. And look, let's start off with the leaders. Now, I'm recording this right as the set's coming out, and basically, we can have a look at the leaders here, and oh my word, the leaders are inflated. Massively, massively inflated. Like right now, over on TCG Player, and do not buy these leaders right now, seriously. Right now on TCG Player, we're talking $60 roughly for Kozuki Oden. $50 for Kyros, and $40 for Hannibal. They are the rough prices of these leaders right now. That is absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. Because what we can do is we can have a look at existing sets, and we can basically draw parallels between the price of these cards right now for EB-01 and the price of existing leaders. Also, I say this every time, but just to be clear, this is friendly advice on your old pal Wossie. Nothing more. So if you really want to go and pick these up right now, do. Go pick these up. If you're happy to pay over the odds, if you want to be the first one to grade them, whatever, absolutely do. I'm telling you they're too expensive, but if you want to go and pick these up right now, go for it, frankly. Go for it. But let's take OP06 as an example. I can go over to limitlesstcg.com. And I can have a look at the OP08 meta. And I can tell you that the clear second best deck is Gecko Moria. Sakazuki has recently jumped over it. It was number 1 for a while, but Sakazuki has basically taken back over. But Gecko Moria, really top tier deck right now. That has a market price on TCG Player of $66. That's what it's going for right now. So, are you going to pay $6 less for Kozuki Oden, which we know from Japan is not a viable leader, seeing no playing success really at all? Lovely artwork. Over Gecko Moria? Does that... And look, I'm not saying the artwork isn't lovely. The artwork is absolutely lovely. No argument there. But it's not good. Like, this is more expensive than the Rebecca leader from OP04. It's currently trending just below $60. And firstly, the Rebecca artwork is just as good as the Oden artwork. And secondly, Rebecca's, well, it's been good in the past. People think it might be coming back. But regardless, there is no world in which Kozuki Oden should be more expensive than Rebecca. And that's kind of my point here. Even if you love the artwork, even if you think it's going to retain a bit of value because of the art, it's when you compare it to other leaders that are around at the moment, it should not be this high. There is no reason why this leader should be quite so high. And if we have a look over in Japan, these leaders are just not attracting any value whatsoever. And again, that is one of the things that we can do here. We can basically have a look at the prices in Japan, the leaders in EB-01, they don't even make the top 10 list of most expensive cards in Japan. They're not even on the list of top 10 most expensive cards. Kozuki Oden is a 2,000 yen card, and I know that singles are generally cheaper in Japan. I know this. But 2,000 yen is... You ready for this? You mentally preparing yourself? $13. And the other two leaders are 1,500 yen, which you should be able to work out yourself here, is less than 10. They are absurdly cheap in Japan. And that's one of the examples here. That's one of the things I can come to you with. These alternate art leaders being, $50, $60, $40, when there's nothing in the Japanese price to reflect this. They're not even good, and they are selling for the same price as definitely better leaders from previous sets. Nah, mate, not even close. I'm not saying don't buy these singles. They're awesome. I am absolutely saying don't buy them yet. Take Viola as an example. Right now, over on TCG Player, Viola is sitting there at a $42, $43 card. And I'm not saying that Viola isn't a good card. Viola is a good card. But again, we can look at the Japanese prices here. Viola doesn't really make much of a dent at all. Viola doesn't make the top 10 over in Japan. Although Japanese singles are cheaper, the order should be roughly similar-ish here. It should be around about the same. So Viola is just being massively, massively inflated. Like right now over on TCG Player, Viola, not including the manga, Viola's the 6th biggest card in terms of value. That should not be the case. It's being massively overrated. And, it's what? Well, I told you, it's a $43 card. Well, let's look at some ones from, for instance, Awakening of the New Era. Alternate Art Rebecca, phenomenally playable card, $30. Alternate Art Rob Lucci, phenomenally playable card, $35. These are ridiculously playable cards. They are lovely alternate art. Are you honestly telling me Viola is going to be 50% more expensive than Rebecca? Especially when we can look at Japan and know for a fact that it shouldn't be that expensive, because Japan have had this. They've had these cards. They've had them for a little while. They're being sold. They're being traded on the secondary market. We can look at the price of these cards and we know for a fact that Viola is not one of the most expensive cards in the set over in Japan. So why would we think it would be over here? And this is what I mean when I say don't buy these singles now. They are massively too expensive. They are trending way higher than they should be. And, let's take Laboon as an example. I love Laboon. It's one of my favourite cards in the set. It's around about a $20 card right now on TCG Player. And I will be picking this card up, because I adore Laboon, and I like So-So as an artist. You whack those two together. This is a card that I'm 100% going to be picking up. But $20? No. Again, we can look at what the prices of these cards are doing over in Japan. And, I told you that Viola wasn't that close to the top 10 list. Laboon is like 2/3 of Viola. It's not even close. Not even remotely close. It's a ridiculously cheap card. Japanese Laboon is going for 1,300 yen right now. And I'm definitely picking up Japanese Laboon. That's $8.50. And I know that the English card will probably be a few dollars more than that. But come on. $20? Are you actually kidding me with that? And again, we can keep playing this game and we can go, well, what's this comparable to? Bearing in mind we kind of know Laboon is not a playable card. Alternate Art Secret Rare Kaido, Alternate Art Zoro are both cheaper right now than the Alternate Art Laboon. It's not happening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm buying this Laboon. I want this Laboon. I am definitely not paying $20 for it now. Everything we've seen suggests that these cards are just going to get cheaper. And yeah, don't be buying them now. But what about the manga? Because sometimes the manga goes up after release. Well, great news. I can tell you that over in Japan, the Tony Chopper manga is in line with, for instance, the Zorro from Wings of the Captain. That is roughly what it's in line with. So honestly, if you're trying to price up the manga, it should be roughly in line with the Zorro. Zorro's about $1,000 card. Started off at $1,650, it's now about $1,000. So you can expect over the next month or so, Chopper should, and I can't guarantee, as always, I can't see the future. All I can do is tell you what's happened in the past to make sensible predictions. But I can tell you that it is very, very likely that Chopper is going to go down and be about $1,000 card. It's not one of the super cheap mangas, think Soja King from OPO3, which was super cheap on release. And it's not one of the super duper expensive mangas like Luffy from OPO5. It is right there in that general, ordinary, everyday run-of-the-mill tier, which means that we should be seeing it at about $1,000 within a few weeks. Especially with the smaller set and the fact that pull rates just seem better, which would be expected of a smaller set. This set, even more than normal, this should be the set you wait to buy your singles or your crack boxes, because actually, with fewer chase cards in there, you're more likely to pull the ones you want. But more than ever, don't be buying singles yet. I'm picking up Laboon, 100% need to have that card. I'm picking up Leader Kyros, I love that card, it will go with my Old Art Rebecca. But there is absolutely no way that I'm picking these cards up now. It is too early, you have been warned. But now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this, tell me how excited you are, tell me what your chase cards are, tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Good us! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.